Our office skyscraper has 50 floors, but there's a button in the elevator labeled 51. Legend has it, if you press it at midnight, when you're alone in the building, the elevator will take you not to the roof, but to a different version of the building. Everything will look the same, only empty. Eternally empty. My colleague Mark, a cynical skeptic, decided to test this. He stayed late at work, waited until dark, and at 12:01 a.m., he entered the elevator. We communicated via audio link. I heard him pressing the buttons. His voice was cheerful. "Let's take a tour of hell, buddy." The elevator started. It took longer than usual. Then he said, "The doors are opening. Wow." And the connection was lost. I called him 100 times. No one answered. The security guards on the ground floor said the elevator hadn't moved from the 50th floor, and Mark wasn't on any floor. They assumed he'd simply left through a different door. The next day, Mark was at work, pale and silent. When I asked, he simply shook his head. "Don't ask." But that evening, I noticed something strange. Mark had always been left-handed. Now he wrote right-handed. He didn't recognize our favorite coffee shop. And when I accidentally called him Mark, he froze for a second, as if he'd forgotten it was his name. And today, in the elevator, I saw my reflection in the polished doors. It didn't match mine for a split second. And when I left, I felt someone else's phone in my pocket. A notification from reminders lit up my lock screen. "Don't forget to smile and act like him. They don't know yet." I work in a 24-hour store on the outskirts of town. It's open from midnight until 6 a.m. There's a rule. If someone comes in after 3 a.m. and buys only salt, matches, and cheap vodka, don't look them in the eye. Don't ask questions. Just scan the item, take the money, and say, "Thank you." Description: this isn't a person. It's someone collecting tribute for some hungry creature living in a vacant lot outside the neighborhood. These items are for a ritual. The same man came in yesterday, a young man with empty eyes. He picked up the exact same set from the shelf. I looked down as I'd been taught. I scanned it. He handed me a bill. It was icy and slightly damp, as if it had just crawled out of the ground. My mistake was looking at the security camera above the register. On its small monitor, I saw not a person behind the register, but an empty space, and only a black, shapeless shadow reached for the lens. I screamed. I looked up. The guy stood there, staring at me, unblinking. "Did you see?" he asked without intonation, and walked away, his purchase forgotten. Since then, I've felt like I'm being watched, not by people, shadows in the periphery of my vision. They stand behind the store window in the darkness, waiting. It's 3:15. I hear the warehouse door creak slowly. They need tribute, and since I haven't given it, the ritual isn't complete, which means they need a replacement. And they're already here, in the store, with me. There's a legend in our city about Route Zero. If you're lonely and desperately in need of help, a bus appears at the bus stop at the stroke of midnight. It will take you anywhere, even if that place is hundreds of kilometers away. But there's a price, and you must give it your most precious moment of happiness. It will tear it from your memory, and you will forget it forever. A week ago, my sister went missing. The police were powerless. In desperation, I arrived at this deserted bus stop at 11:55 p.m. At precisely 12 a.m., an old battered bus with no number pulled up. The doors hissed open. The driver didn't turn around. "Get on, we'll find him," said a mechanical voice over the speaker. I got on. The bus was empty. We drove along unfamiliar streets that didn't exist in the city. Suddenly, a memory flashed through my mind. Me, about 7 years old, and my sister, laughing on a swing in the park. The purest, most vivid moment of childhood. And then, emptiness. The feeling of happiness remained, but the image and meaning were gone. I cried, but the tears were in vain. The bus stopped in front of our house. "She's home," the driver said. The doors opened. I ran into the apartment. My sister was sitting in the kitchen, alive and well. She had no memory of where she had been. I hugged her, feeling a huge emptiness in my soul where that very memory had been. Everything was fine. Until that morning, when I woke up and saw, in someone else's handwriting, "Bill paid for one." And from my sister's room, her frightened voice came, "Brother? I don't remember your face. Who are you?" She had forgotten me. Not all of me. Just my face, my childish voice. The bus had left its mark on her life, too. And now he comes every night. I see his headlights from the window. He waits at the bus stop. Because, as it turns out, the account wasn't closed. My sister and I shared a special moment. And now he wants to take everything we have in common. Right down to our last shared thought.